the universe, based on this method, the universe would have to be an infinite bubble that just has no beginning or end.
That doesn't necessarily make it infinite.
Without possessing a beginning.
Something that doesn't have a beginning or end isn't necessarily
Well, I'm still wondering how we're how is this a demonstration of God?
Well, because if everything must have a cause, then both matter and time must have also had a cause.
But what makes you say that cause is God?
Because by definition,
I am using the
whatever
term
it
God
is called God.
That's what it sounds like you said.
Very lightly. God is simply the name that I'm attributing to this cause.
That's what I'm saying.
God is just a cause.
So
I agree that's what you're doing.
You're saying that you've proved the existence of God when basically all you've done is proven that you are capable of calling any particular arbitrary thing a God. In which case, I agree. Whatever you want to call God, if that thing exists, then sure enough, God exists.
That's like pantheists.
By the words.
Yeah, pantheists say the universe is God, that it has all the attributes of God, that it's all power, all knowledge, all being, all existence. And so they say that's God. It has all the attributes of God. It's it's everywhere. It's everything. It's all knowledge. And so to them, the universe is God. And I look at that and it's like, well, if you want to call it God, that's fine. I call it the universe. And I don't consider it a demonstration of the existence of God.
Yeah,
for someone to just tell me it's God.
My only question is, what does it get you to have come up with this proof? I mean, what do you understand about the universe now that you didn't understand before you decided to put the label God on something? I mean, have you learned anything about the way the universe works? Have you gained any scientific insight? Have you learned anything about how to live?
I believe that every aspect of this universe follows that simple rule. And that's where I'm basing
So
my
again,
argument
what
on.
do you get from that? What do you gain by it?
What do I gain?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned it, you referred to it as a theory a couple of times. I wouldn't call it a theory because a theory has a particular meaning, and usually something only gets to the status of theory because it's demonstrated itself to be useful in making predictions about things that really happen. It's useful for revealing stuff about the world that you didn't know before you just decided to play these word games. To what purpose do you actually, does this proof actually provide any new information?
Well, I suppose that what I'm trying to prove here is that there is something that the existence just doesn't end with our universe. The universe must have been preceded by something else, and it can't. Existence is not confined to our universe, and our universe must have had a cause, which many would label as God because of these two traits that I talked about.
Some people label it the Big Bang.
No, that's not true, because even if the Big Bang was true, it is still confined to our universe.
Okay, well...
Events prior to the Big Bang cannot be intelligently discussed because all the laws of matter and energy break down at that point. You cannot assume that cause and effect would have been in effect prior to this material universe. You also have to understand that at the quantum level, cause and effect do not apply. There are random events.
I think we're going to have to move on because we've been on this call for a while and we do have full lines. But I invite you, if you want, to continue this conversation by emailing tv@atheist-community.org.
I appreciate the call, too.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good topic, and, it was interesting, and thanks for calling. I'd also like to mention once again that there are 15 minutes left in the show.
Sorry.
And after the show is over... what?
I feel like I stuck on that call really long.
No,
I probably
right.
should have let it go.
After the show is over, you're free, if you're not watching some football game,
dun, 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 dun.
to come and join us at Threadgill's for some dinner, starting at around 6:30.
Saints upset.
So, let's see.
Is it Chris on 2?
Yeah, Chris has still been on for a while after that. We can wrap up your topic.
Oh, we don't need to. The topic, like I said, is just more of the same.
Okay.
Let's get the callers in.
Chris in Madison, Wisconsin. How's it going?
Hey, guys. How are you doing?
Fine, thanks.
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for the show. You guys have really given me the courage to come out of the closet as an atheist.
Good.
Great.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, I even started my own atheist blog, too. So,
Wow.
What, do you want to pimp the address?
Pimp your blog.
well, how nice of you to ask, of course. It's called sereneatheist.blogspot.com.
Sorry, what was the first part?
Serene, S-E-R-E-N-E.
Okay.
Okay.
Atheist.
sereneatheist.blogspot.com. All right.
Right. And I thought about writing articles for a while, but one thing that's really frustrating about you guys is I'll get this idea that I think is really novel, but I'm obsessed with your show now, and I go on YouTube and watch all kinds of episodes, and I hear people coming up with all these ideas that I thought once were novel, and they're not.
We're sorry.
Wait,
really, the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun.
Really quickly, Chris, I don't think we say anything that's particularly new. It's just about saying it as much as possible because we're speaking against an institution that says things far more often than we can hope to with the small numbers that we have.
Right. We're all about spreading memes. Doesn't
right.
matter if it's original.
Thanks. Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Well, I wanted to thank Tracy, too, for bringing something up before, not related to my call, but bringing up Amazing Grace.
Oh, yeah.
For so many years, the first few lines of that song have just made me sick. Talk about abusive, brainwashing mind control.
Yeah.
I'm a psychotherapist, an outpatient psychotherapist, and I see so much of the teachings like that be no different from the way abusers treat battered wives.
Yes. It's so
like
similar.
Tearing away at your self-esteem. And which is a big reason why they stay then.
I described it one time as beating somebody up so badly that when you're not there, they beat themselves up.
Yeah, and that is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
I work with a lot of women who have gotten out of abusive relationships, but they were in it for so long, and it takes so much time for them to get out of the fog. I call it the fog. It just, it turns everything backwards and upside down. And
I was just going to insert fog. Are you using that for fear, obligation, and guilt?
I read about that in a book, but it's kind of broader than that. Those are parts of it, but definitely in people, more often than not women, it's so much more than that.
I guess
that just gets down to the core of their being.
So you're the expert. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess one of the things that happens in an abusive relationship is a lot of emotional abuse, where the abuser says basically, you are a terrible person, and you should appreciate me putting up with you. I'm only beating you.
Where would you be without me?
Because you deserve it.
Yeah, no one will love you the way I love you. This sort of instills the fear that you can't go anywhere else because nobody would have you. Yeah, another article I was going to write, I don't know if you've heard about this, but there's something called the power and control wheel that is used by a lot of domestic violence shelters, and it talks about how abusers use different things like children and economics and I can't think of too many right off the bat, like threats and other things, and these are just core things that abusers use. And when I look at that and I think about the way some churches talk and kind of indoctrinate people, it's no different.
Yeah.
And so I actually thought about creating a power and control wheel regarding church.
I hope you do that. I really do, because I've seen the same analogy in my own mind. It's the same. They insulate and isolate.
Yeah.
They say the world is bad, and you need to just, we're right, and don't listen to them. They're all driven by Satan. Yeah.
Well, that'll be the next article I throw up there. You guys can check it out and
do
tell me
it.
what you think.
Well, it's the same thing cults do, and I think you should check out my webpage about Amway sometime.
Oh, yeah, I will, definitely. I have checked out your page before.
Oh, okay.
Also for the World of Warcraft stuff. It's kind of funny.
Oh, yeah, that's actually, I've got a new diary on Daily Kos but sorry, I don't want to pin my stuff. But
Gotcha.
It's about politics and Warcraft.
Well, send us a link when you finally do that. I'd be interested in seeing your analogies.
I will.